Hey, YouTubers out there. It is Mr. Charlie Black coming at you with another video from the Mr. Charlie Black YouTube channel. It is 7:54 right now. And about 30 minutes ago, I rocked the vote. I got out there I was there at 6:59 a.m. Pacific time here in California. And it was so funny because I voted in this precinct, and I live in a fairly small, neighborhood, so my precinct is really, one of those in and out type of places. And I walked in. The first thing I noticed after having voted in other elections over the past few years, this precinct was actually full. We actually had a line today, which tells me that everybody's excited and energized. I live in a blue state, so of course my electoral votes are going to go towards Barack Obama. And I do think that it is beneficial still, even though you know that it is a blue state, to go out and get your vote cast, because it did feel good. I woke up 2 hours prior to that. I was just pacing around because I'm so nervous about this. It's an amazing thing to sit back and look at it, that this has taken 2 years to come to this point between these two candidates who came out of nowhere and grasped the nominations from both sides of those parties. And you have an older gentleman who is a war hero, who's been in Washington for all this time, who everyone was blindsided by. Mitt Romney was supposed to be in his place. Then you have an African American young gentleman with no name whatsoever out there, until he started getting, the media attention and went out and ran a flawless campaign. Hillary Clinton bowed out. It's the most amazing thing, because she had that in the bag and no one saw him coming. And when he came, he stood up and he did what he had to do. He performed. So it has been an amazing 2 years. And just specifically on YouTube, I know I joined October 10th, 2008. So I haven't been on here even a month yet. But I just want to say to those of you out there, the subscribers, the viewers, the friends that I've had, people that send me messages, thank you very much. We may not always agree on certain issues, but I'm so glad to know that whether we stand on the same side when it comes to our stance that we take on certain issues, that we can see eye to eye, and politics does not harm or tamper the relationship that we have a possibility to have. There have been downsides. I have gotten to take the ugly with the good, and I can't just have it all one way. I do have to have the ups and downs, so that I've also been able to deal with more so effectively. This also is amazing to me, because seeing the energy in these campaigns from both sides, with all these voters out here, rushing to the polls, waiting out in lines. I only had to wait, 10 minutes to actually, maybe 5 minutes actually, to actually get my ballot and, start marking it. Some people are waiting out there 2 to 3 hours, and they are well aware of what's going on, and they're willing to go through it. I have to applaud you guys, because I don't know if I could do it. I mean, I would do it, but I don't know if I would enjoy it. That's what I mean. This has made me nervous, because it's the most amazing thing. When this campaign, or when the general election was nearing, a lot of people were shaky. They didn't know how Barack Obama was going to do. People weren't sure if Hillary Clinton was going to bow out or try to do some kind of steal. She was just an amazing, amazing competitor, and I was originally a Hillary Clinton supporter. And we've come to this point. I don't think that as an African American, even non-black people, I don't think that we've seen this coming. If you would have asked me 2 to 3 years ago, do I have faith that the system would allow, or that supporters would support an African American or a black candidate, whichever you prefer, I would have said no. Because in my mind, there's always this thing that, and I consider myself a fairly intelligent person, there's always this block that you put on things, this limit, this boundary where you say, okay, I can go out and I can do whatever I want to do within those limitations. No one that I know of actually sat down 2 years ago, even a year ago. Some people are still sitting down now and pinching themselves in shock that someone is on the brink, a black person is on the brink of taking the most powerful position in the world as President of the United States of America. It's really, really surreal. Run a flawless campaign. Well, not necessarily flawless, but it's close to 50-state campaign. Impacted some of what's considered the traditionally red states, and just giving us all an inspiration that if we do work hard, if we do follow a path, anything is possible. I think that Barack Obama's job as a candidate for president has been done as far as inspiration goes. It's just a matter of now getting out to those polls and showing his support. But there are McCain supporters out there too, and McCain, another person, like I said, who no one saw coming to this point, who's run an equally effective campaign, I believe, and has his strong support from his base also with Sarah Palin. It's just one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. Now, regardless of who wins tonight, all of this momentum that we have on both sides, I know that it gets emotional. We start to cling to our candidate. We get a little bit defensive. We wear our emotions on our sleeve. We're a little more high-strung because, the determination is today. We're going to know today, maybe even tomorrow, who our next president-elect is. It does get a little bit tough, but what I do think that we have to stress going forward, November 5th and then on, for this next 4 years, whoever takes office, is that we are all still Americans. We may not share the same views, the same ideology, but at the end of the day, the thing that we hold in common is that we vote for the things that we do believe in. And at the end of the day, regardless of who's sitting in office as the commander-in-chief, they do not dictate every single American voter. Our support doesn't stop here. If you can come as a senator from Chicago with, slim to no experience as a executive experience, I would say, and go out and run this type of a campaign, next to a veteran who's been doing this for a majority of his life, who has, the scars to prove it, who has much more of a name than you, then just imagine the possibilities, ladies and gentlemen. No matter who you are, male, female, black, white, Asian, Latino, whichever, you can actually go out and you can do this too. It's very inspiring, and I just want to say that this has really, really been fun just to see you guys' opinions, take the good and the bad, and regardless of what happens tonight, I hope that moving on from tomorrow, we can unify this country, get back to what's going on at hand. We still have a war out there. Our soldiers are fighting for our right to have these debates, for our right to walk into these precincts and vote. Our soldiers out there are serving a purpose that we cannot put to words how important it is. So if you know anyone who's put military service forward, really shake their hand. If you call them, write them letters, let them know there's a thank you out there. Because without them, we could live in countries where we've seen we don't have much of a voice. We can't get as passionate about politics as we would like. It's not as amazing of a system for someone to just come out of nowhere and run for office. But YouTubers, I hope that you do vote today. Don't let anything stop you from voting. I know on the East Coast it's 11 o'clock right now, Central Time, it's 10, and you guys are still, going through your days. Do not miss your votes today. I say that to the swing state people, specifically Pennsylvania, Colorado, Virginia, North Carolina, and who else? Ohio, of course, you guys too, and Indiana. Those are the ones that I'm really watching out for. I think Florida's in the bag for Obama, but I don't care who you're voting for. If you're voting for Barack Obama, John McCain, Cynthia McKinney, Ralph Nader, whoever you're voting for, go out and cast your ballot today. Let your voice be heard. And YouTubers, I hope that you have a good day. Tune in, maybe a little bit later. I'll be watching a lot of this commentary, so I may not get to touch a lot of the topics, but I might be able to update you on a few things tonight. So stay tuned, YouTubers, and I'll get back to you.